4. I guess it should have been 5. I don't know. Grand Rising, beautiful, melanated, original, whatever you respectfully call yourself, people. Is your girl Straight No Chaser with the Queen, and we are here with the Good Morning from Africa Town, LA crew. So, if everybody want to introduce themselves,
I'm Kathy B.
Angelina with Clearest Conscience. D Maze is here somewhere. Where you at, Mike?
Yeah. We can't hear you. You muted or something.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm muted. Sorry about it, y'all. D made for mine. I'm trying to find my glasses. D made for mine games and cut podcast. We are here, y'all. What's happening?
Okay. So y'all know that we have our radio show. And if Angie, you want to tell about our show?
All right, so we are the Good Morning from Africa Town, Los Angeles morning radio show. So you might hear us refer to ourselves as the ATLA crew. We are all over in the United States, but we have come together under the United Empires of Akibalan. So we want to encourage you to check us out with our Good Morning radio show at www.gmfatla.com. We are always updating things on there. You can definitely find some important content based off of what we talk about from time to time. You can find apparel and merch and just keep up with us. But more importantly, you're going to want to keep up with us on the United Empires of Akibalan website, which is www.theunitedempiresofakibalan.com. Akibalan is spelled Alkebulan. So check us out, stay connected with us, grow with us, because we are definitely making changes in the community, in the Black community, right? And for the world. So stay tuned. And there we go.
And so with that, we're going to play you a little something. Hold on. I'm trying to get the banner and we're going to play you something. Hold on 1 second. So that is the website that you can go to. And then this is the radio website. So like Angie said, we joined the Micronation together and we have a morning show together.
The Good Morning from Africa Town, Los Angeles morning radio show is pleased to announce that we now have apparel and other merchandise on sale on our website now. That's right. If you enjoy the positive, conscious messages that the ATLA crew brings to you via radio or our other platforms via social media, we want to encourage you to show your support by donning our apparel. You can shop right now, today, at www.gmfatla.com. Get your merch today, and thank you for your support.
Okay. That was Angie. Go, Angie.
Thank you.
Nice.
Get
I gotta
merch.
get my shit.
Get that merch.
Yes. So that is our ad. And just know all the merch, what we're doing is like we're raising money for land. So when you buy apparel, if you donate, no matter what other people are out there doing, as we start talking about the subject today, Diaspora Wars, and the what is going to take for us to get Black unity. So you can be going to look at go to our website, check it out, and everything you donate goes towards the cause.
Exactly.
We are looking at doing something for everybody. When you see a lot of people do things, we want to make it where we've been coming up with ways to make it where everybody melanated can benefit, because we understand no matter how much everyone is out there. Grand Rising, everyone in the chat, thank you for tuning in. No matter what everyone else is out there doing. We are trying to find a bridge because we know and we are aware that we all look alike. Without me telling you who I am or where I'm from, all you know that I am a Black woman. And that's what we don't get. No matter what labels we keep arguing with each other about, no matter what we say we're from, we are indigenous to this planet. And at some point in time before we were interrupted with, hate, we had separate places on this planet. But I'm pretty sure that knowing the people we are now, we visit back and forth with each other. It's proof that artifacts from one area of the world is in another area. The only thing we cannot prove is exactly where each one of us come from. We can get a hint. We can use the test. So with knowing that, you use knowledge, and knowledge will tell you, and common sense and wisdom is that you are never going to get the answers that you want because of the interruption of white supremacy that was plagued on us and separated all of us. Whether we say you're from Africa, Jamaica, China, Europe, because there's Black people in all these other places too.
Facts.
So we're looking at building something together. And that's why we do the things that we do. This is why you see us come together, because all of us have different platforms and have different ideas of things. And out here in the diaspora, all of us have different ways of that we're so-called fighting white supremacy. And a lot of people think that it's just only your way. So when you supporting us, we're looking at something that builds all of us, that all of us can utilize. If we get land, well, not if we have land, what we build is something that we can all utilize, even if it's coming in and out. Because if we don't build together, all we can do is keep sitting on YouTube or sitting in places arguing or sitting in our own places. Because whatever your Black group is doing in Georgia, it's not helping me in Alabama. Whatever my group in Alabama is doing is not helping me in Chicago. We have all these people that are doing different stuff, but has it crossed anyone's mind that we need to bring all our groups together? And when people keep wondering what the United Empires of Akibalon, we came up with the name, and I'm going to turn my camera so you can see the flag. We came up with the name United Empires because we didn't want to take away anything that any Black person or melanated, whatever you want to call yourself respectfully, created. We want you to be, because that is the whole point of white supremacy, is to strip us from what we did not know. So what you have created is still great. But we want you to be great. That's why we said empires. We went over the names. Kathy B was there. We started saying nations at first. But we look at everything you created, whether I don't like to say the name, but it was whether you are FBA or whether you or the Royals with Queen Amadeus Shakur, whatever you are, and you're contributing to help be B1. If you're completely B1, then that name and project is yours. If you created a flag, is yours. And that's why you see the flag. If y'all follow us on Patreon, I forgot to put that up too. That way, when you see the flag and see it together, you are your own empire, and all we are is united. Akibalon is just there for we were first looking at the first name for Black. We're not perfect. We don't come across to try to be perfect. Maybe it wasn't the name. We was attributing it to motherland. No, I believe I'm an American Indian because of the history of my family, but I know that common sense is that all of us have some connection to the motherland. So we shouldn't have a problem. So the name is significant of us. The things we do is significant of us building together to we were looking for something that will bond all the diaspora together, because we know the tricks are already out there to separate us. Diaspora means separated. We were separated from wherever we were, whether we were in Jamaica, Africa, American Indian, Australia, Europe, China, the Asians, wherever we were disrupted by, not trying to be funny, white supremacy.
Yep.
So with
All
that,
facts.
we are having wars among each other, diaspora wars. And we don't, whether we on YouTube, whether we in different groups, whether we in gangs on the street, whether we are in politics on the Democrats or the Republicans, all they have us is fighting. All we see is the signs of diaspora wars in every category of life that you can put, and we don't realize it. And the only thing we have in common is our skin color, because if we never talked or never told you where we each other was from, all we would be is black people. And I know that most people don't like the word black, melanated. All we would be is the original people of this planet, no
Right.
matter where we're from.
Agreed. Yeah, you're right. And it's hard. It's sad that a lot of our people don't see it that way. They, you know, you got all these different cliques and crews now. It look like.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at so many videos. Let me get on the camera. We got so many videos. Hold on. Oops. Okay. We got so many different videos on YouTube that people just going at each other's throats. I mean, they got JT, the I like him, JT, the pocket watcher with O'Shea Duke Jackson. They on what's his name? But we know they talking about the whole thing with what's his name? What's the one down here, the Jay Morris thing? Yeah, and he did scam. Like now I would say this. Yeah, when you invest money, you gotta realize when you invest any kind of money, you gotta make sure, okay, this is money I could just blow. But you know, most black people, just like what's name them said, what's his name? I'm the brain free. I can't remember nobody. Tone Toss. Y'all working on some stuff, but Tone Toss even said, he said the average black person don't even have $500 to even blow. So I kind of agree with him on that. The average black person. I'm not saying all black people, but you know, still he know that too. Jay knew that, and he still, you know, got over on black people. You know what I'm saying? Now he up the street,
Yes.
he got the black house, and nobody ain't really in it. It's a nice facility. It's A1, but I even know a girl who had a business open up in there, and she got screwed the first 6 months. I mean, she was on Facebook advertising like, yeah, black people, we coming up, we doing good things in the community. I mean, and then he, like, I think after COVID, then when he screwed, yeah, it was around COVID. She was there probably like a year and a half, and when COVID hit, they got rid of a lot of people. People just, I mean, they just lost money in it. So I'm saying you got that going on. You got the damn the debates going on. We know who do the debates and stuff on YouTube. They going at each other's throats. People talking about, you know, like you said, I'm not an African. I'm B1. I'm ADOS. I'm a freedman. Same thing on Clubhouse and Twitter. And to me, it's causing division. Be honest, we're just wasting our time when we do this, because it seems like it's setting us back. From what I'm looking at, and people I talk to, especially on Clubhouse, man, the roasting is I mean, they claim it's only, well, a certain person always saying that he's only talking about the tethers or the coons of the African class, but the way they be speaking, like they talking about the whole African nation. I'm like, or even when they talk about the Haitians, they talking about they musty, they feet dirty and ashy and joel off rice. I'm like, what they got to do?
So
It's stupid. It's childish. I'm like, you got all these black people following certain people because they can't think on their own. They don't realize it's setting us back. So I'm like, man, we got to stop that, because I'm not getting them rooms on Clubhouse and stuff. I just get out of there, man. They be wanting me to come up, like, I'm good, man. I'm like, y'all, we are not. We supposed to be progressing as a people. We are going back. Like the stuff y'all talking about. I'm like, at the end of the day, y'all talk all this stuff about these other melanated people in other countries, but what do we have in America? We don't own shit. I'm like, show me black. You got Hispanic plazas all over here in Atlanta. I'm like, plazas. That's my big plazas with all kind of businesses. I'm in Atlanta. I mean, we got black businesses, and we probably got more than in most states, but still, we don't own a bunch of plazas. I mean, that's just
Let me say this. Don't mean to cut you off. And that's what I mean. What's going on in Atlanta is like we don't get the idea to do it all over. What's going on in Atlanta benefits Atlanta. Exactly. But in order for me to get that black business, in order for me to be surrounded by a majority of black business or majority of successful black people, I have to move to Atlanta.
Facts. Yeah.
Or just and that's how they trap us. We don't get the same idea all over. Yeah. And that is the whole point of us with, like I was saying, with the United Empires of Keeping On, we starting from state to state to build Black utopia, because Atlanta is basically Black utopia, but so many Black people in Atlanta are not taking advantage of it. All they're doing is fighting. Half the time, half of the Black population in Atlanta is shooting and killing each other.
Yeah, yeah. It is
And
fine.
we don't look at it. Nobody is training and teaching us like, hey, this is a wonderful and this is an opportunity to shine. Everyone, and they have everybody in Atlanta looking on to the stars or looking to be like something else. They always got us looking off at everything but looking at ourselves or looking at reality, because Atlanta could be powerful just like LA and Detroit and all these other Black cities that have become war holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I always tell people too. I said, Atlanta is the last of the holdout. Like if Atlanta falls, that's pretty much gonna be it. I mean, you got up in what's that, Prince George up in Maryland, but it's Charlotte trying to do something. But what make us bigger than a lot of the places because we got that airport. That airport is the biggest airport in the world. I'm telling you, that thing right there, everything goes through that airport. And Black
Well, they
people
went
are doing a lot of
viral
business,
some of the wrong reasons.
and for the wrong reason too. But then they expanded. They just opened up. They got a suite for 4,850. I think a night for a suite for celebrities and stuff. And you know they're gonna try to lure out them Black celebrities here to spend it. Oh, you had to look it up. It's a lot of stuff. But it still don't make sense. They're doing it's a lot of development going on here, but a lot of gentrification is happening just like any other major city. But I see it, and it's one thing I tell people about Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I was born here. If you ain't from Atlanta, you gotta be in cliques. It's all about cliques and crew. Like if you're in a certain clique, that's they're gonna look out for you. But they're gonna look out for all Black people. I mean, unfortunately, they don't work like that here. Anybody from here know that, and the people who just came here for a couple years, they see that. Like if you don't know this certain person, you don't know this certain politician, or just people who like in different little societies, whatever. That's how it works here. That's why you see the people who living well, they click in with other certain people. Now the gathering spot is a good thing that's going on. They got it here in Atlanta, Charlotte, LA. I think LA, New York. I know about 5 cities with a bunch of Black business owners come together and network with each other. I think that's a good thing. They've been here in Atlanta since I think 2017, but they're starting to grow in other cities. I think that's a good thing we're doing. Black business owners are coming together and working together in different cities and networking. But we should not let nobody come in our circles, because we good about letting everybody, people of color and all that, the Black and Brown Coalition shit come up in there and mess everything else. I hope they can keep that thing solid and tight.
Yeah, because the way that the Black and Brown Coalition is real too, and it's not real, is because when you look at it, they will come in our spaces and we make room for them, even if we don't know the language, but we don't never see ourselves in their spaces. When they have Little Mexico or this and that, or when you go see them plazas and stuff, they have everything in Spanish and stuff, but they don't welcome us over there.
Facts.
So we have to be selfish, not trying to be funny. We have to be selfish for us for a change, because everybody is eating. Because the Mexican community are not complaining that they got more guns. We talk about them. We talk about Mexico, but do you see them shooting each other down in the news every day?
Nope.
Right.
Their communities are looking close to the white and the Asian communities.
And I'll say this: I don't think it's selfish. I think it's self is. And that's how we have to start looking at things, is that we are self, as far as self, what do we want for self? What do we want for our people, for our communities? It's not selfish.
Exactly.
So we have to look at it like that. We have to put ourselves first. We have to love ourselves first. And a lot of us are not doing that. And it's a real shame. But that's going to be the first step, is realizing that it's not selfish to put our priorities above anyone else's.
And I'll say this too. We all over the place. And I was telling people, even when you talk about reparations, and we pretty much everybody in here, most Black people in the grassroots world, we all for reparations and stuff. My thing about reparations is we're not attacking it the right way. A lot of us don't even understand politics and stuff. Some things we're gonna have to do that we don't want to do, unfortunately. I mean, because you're gonna have to deal with that white man. See, we delusional. Like, you're not finna push for nothing, because you're gonna have to get him to pass the damn bill. I try to tell Black people when I be in these rooms, like, look, half of y'all don't even know your local politician. You don't know your city councilman. You don't know none of these people. The commissioner, the county commissioner, none of that. Then they get quiet when I say that. Then we talking about money. We need to uplift politicians on a local level. They don't understand it because I don't did this before. Only a few people do understand it, but at the end of the day, we don't even have a real plan. The reparation talk's gonna be there because you got the election coming up in 2024, but I don't see it's stuck. It's like in limbo right now. Like, what is the next move? We just come out. We gonna get it.
We got a plan.
Is that we got a plan? Yeah, but like I say this too. Represent us. We can't just wait just for reparation. We need to start doing for ourselves. Now, a lot of black people are like, oh, you talking crazy. I'm like, what? I'm talking crazy. You can't wait for them to just give you something. You still got to create your own lane because when they do, or if they do, at least we already be established. We're not even established as a people. You got to get established before anybody, because they throw money to you. You're just going to blow it. You do what you want with your money, I'm just saying. But you're going to give it right back to them. It ain't going to mean nothing. Like I said, but why they fighting against it? Because they know brothers and sisters like us, it's a lot of them like us. Like, even if it's a small group, white supremacists, they know this. He's like, well, at 10%, 15%, they might start having the others have ideas like that and grow their own micronations, and we can't allow that.
And that's what we want. That's what we want, because we want to be able to. The whole point of the United Empires of Akibalon is so that if you have your own tribe, if you have your own nation, that is fine. We're not arguing with people. We've had people in this nation that has left. You know, there's always going to be stuff that go on behind the scene, but it doesn't mean go build yours. We can visit each other, but your micronation should be B1, where you're putting your people first. It's not about who owns it. They got us so much caught up in labels and titles and groups that we do not know how to build our own and represent. Black Wall Street, we keep praising that name, but we won't look at what they did. We won't visit the history of Black Wall Street. And the history of Black Wall Street, a black guy, I forgot his name, it was a few of them, he had the idea of pulling in black people money together. And he basically, what would you say, Queen?
That's what we need.
Yes, he had the idea. We keep talking about Black Wall Street. We want symbols and pictures and purses and labels. And that's why we go after designer labels. They got us programmed in one way. We talk about Black Wall Street, but you can't rebuild Black Wall Street if you don't understand the blueprint of how Black Wall Street got Black Wall Street. The guy got his friends together and they bought some land. And he knew that he had to get things going. And he went and got people who was richer than him, that was more popular than him. And he got these people together and got everybody to put in like development. And they all put in. See, back then they didn't have the white man. See, one thing when Black Wall Street was built, the white man studied that. Y'all are so behind. We are so behind. We have not studied it. They studied it. And that's why we are where we are now, with being distracted and not sticking together, because the mind of the people that back then in Black Wall Street was not separated with white ideology. More tongue tied. But what they did was they knew that they had to have something because they wasn't allowed other places. Remember. Right. We keep praising that we can go in these white spaces, but we were at our best as Black people when we didn't go in their spaces.
Yep, separated.
Mm-hmm. So the man, I forgot his name, so forgive me, he got his friends together. And each friend that had a Black business, they all came with money and stuff, and they built Black Wall Street. Yep. And the rule of Black Wall Street was one, if you was a Black business, you have to host another Black business till that Black business get on their feet.
Yep.
We're not talking about that. Y'all love to say Black Wall Street, but Black folks is the worst ones. We see it here when we collab as YouTubers. Yeah. When you on each other's platform, that's a form of Black Wall Street. We don't know it, because now that we know you can make money off of YouTube if you start getting so many followings and stuff. But a lot of us will argue and sell ourselves out just to get that. Exactly. All we got to do is get the mentality of Black Wall Street. And that's what we're trying to do as the United Empires of Akibalon. So all diaspora, Black Wall Street was diaspora that was separated, come together in a in a place together. And it wasn't just Black Wall Street. You had Rosewood. Black Wall Street was over in what, North Carolina,
Florida, down in Florida,
yeah, and you Rosewood was
Oscarville,
in
Georgia,
Florida. So in every state you had a Black Wall Street. Little do you know.
Durham, North Carolina. Yeah, all of them.
There
Yeah,
were times
Chicago.
just like we see right now, white people have all their towns. Well, we had that too. But when they destroyed all our towns all over the United States,
Yep.
they made us a diaspora again, where we would disperse from our Black towns.
Exactly.
So we're arguing about whether you from Africa or not. Fuck that. What if you was the descendant of Black Wall Street? Because remember, half them people died. They say 300, but it was more because you could see the film.
Exactly. And like I say, we up here beef. Yeah, it don't make sense because if you listen to these people talk, it's like, why y'all focusing on a certain group of melanated people from another country? It's like hatred now. Like because you worse than now white. We worse than the white supremacists that talk down on us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Do this stuff offline, y'all. We up here on Twitter, Clubhouse, YouTube, talking all this. Everybody talking about it now. Everybody talking about FBA, tethers, and the Diaspora Wars. I mean, it's just debates and all that. It's waste of time. No, you don't see no other group do that but us. We look like fools. Certain people got to be held accountable for this. We let it go for a long time, and like I told people. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like, and one thing I want to say, for all y'all who was following Dr. John Henry Clark and Dr. Amos Wilson, now y'all even the ones who still living, y'all, it seemed like all their work was in vain now. Like, come on now. I mean, we supposed to be honoring our master teachers, but it's like now it's like, okay, we're gonna get away from the teaching. I'm not saying that you can't start something new, but you still gotta honor what these people taught us, because I learned a lot from them brothers, you know what I'm saying, and sisters. And now y'all kind of like doing your own thing. Some people it's a lot when we gotta get away from it. I'll land my plane.
Well, the thing is, we have to find ways to bond together. And I was saying, I'm talking about Akibalon, and I'm gonna play a video from us.
Facts.
Of saying who we are, and y'all just listen.
The United Empires of Akibalon is a sovereign nation founded on the principles of Black economic empowerment, self-determination, and community building. Our mission is to create a safe and prosperous haven for Black people to live, work, and thrive together, free of the chains of white supremacy.
Love it.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
And we understand this.
It represents all of us.
Exactly.
It represents what we're trying to do is build a house, not just a Black house in one place, but a place of retreat where we all can come back and forth to. So all the Diaspora Wars, everybody that want to know who we are, what this channel is about, what we're about when we come together. We're going to be talking about different subjects and all this stuff, but our main focus is on sticking together and trying to find something good, because it seems like we are in this paradigm of just focusing on everything negative. When we see a Black woman, it's so much to a Black woman, but we're getting pointed out by the transgenders, and there's always twerking, and so those videos surface. But out of one twerking video, you can find 100 videos of Black women doing something positive.
Thank you.
The Black men.
The twerking will go viral.
Yeah,
exactly.
I gotta touch on
it's
that.
like we push that energy. They got us pushing that energy out, and that energy is coming back to pull something negative to us. And it takes somebody and some people to start steering us into this other energy, because you attract what you want. It's like we want to see something bad about ourselves. We want to have a reason not to get along. But one thing we all have in common is that we all want peace, and we all want to be happy being who we are individually. But we can't even be normal human beings with our skin colors, because despite the normal problems we're going to have as a race together, we have influencers on the outside And the whole point of us separating and being together and having a place together where you can either come back and forth, visit, retreat, or whatever, is so that you can rest your mind and stop being connected to the outside.
Exactly.
One thing we go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? One thing we know, we're not black people never been a monolith. We all know that on here. The thing is, it's a lot of black people do want to come together, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter from here, Africa, Haiti, whatever, you know what I'm saying? As long as y'all on code and we all knowing what we trying to do, that's all that matters. Because like you said, even with the Asian community, you got Japan, South Korea, North Korea, China. So South Korea and North Korea don't even get along. Japan and Chinese don't like each other. But when they come down to them coming together as all Asians, they do that. We don't do that. Like I'm saying, like this beef and this stuff is crazy. It don't make sense to me. And we don't even get along with some of our own family members. So to get the damn diaspora war, you got black people don't get along with their own family members. So we need, and then like I said, going back to the disrespect of black women. I see they're really pushing that. We know who's driving that machine, you know, as far as they pushing all this thought culture and this stank music. I mean, they got black women even looking. I mean, it's to the point they just look disgusting, what they got them doing. We got to call it out. And I appreciate the sisters who checking. A lot of black women are checking these sisters because they are just getting ridiculous. You got all these new rappers coming out. I mean, yeah.
It started when we started calling each other queens.
Exactly. Because all of them ain't queens. I'm sorry.
They made sure, like, no, y'all thoughts.
Yeah.
Workers.
Well, we have to even look at like the influencers when we talk about that. You know, who are these people? At some point, they were everyday people. And they got notoriety for whatever. And it might not be positive notoriety, but they had notoriety for whatever. I don't know if you all saw the new Hilton commercial with Paris Hilton, and she comes in with her bags and she has a whole nother room for her, you know, her luggage or whatnot. You know, people follow that. And like we said, you know, you don't have $500 to, you know, invest if you lost your job today. You know, a lot of people are 2 paychecks away from living on the street, not having your lights disconnected, not having your car repoed, living on the street. So what does that mean? What happens to where now you're living on the street? The disconnect has happened. The repos have happened, you know, so we're not even looking at the severity of the situation. So when we look at influencers, again, these people are just everyday people that gain notoriety, large in part by the collective ignorance, you know, and the willingness to follow. So when you look at us on this panel, we are influencers. We are celebrities in our own rights, and not because we're here to entertain, but because we're here to, you call it what you want. I guess not celebrities, but, you know, activists, you know, whatever you want to call it, we move in our own rights. You know, and even in our differences here, we come together because we see the big picture and we influence one another. And that is our goal here, to do that with you all. So no, we're not going to make no trashy music. You know, we might get the swear jar out because we're going to drop a few F-bombs because we feel like somebody's not getting it. But the compassion's there, and we lead by example. We lead in true leadership. And that's what we need in the Black community. If I can't make
not
it,
one leader, but many.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Queen.
No, you're fine.
I said not one leader, but many. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I mean, because if I can't lead, if I can't be responsible for myself, then how good am I? You know, what's my worth in full to the collective? You know, we can give, we can do our part here and there, but if we can't stand on our own and be conscious in our own right, then we will fall. Then we are pointing fingers at one another because somebody missed the mark, and we can't accept when people miss that mark. We don't want to hold one another accountable for when we do. So that's
we didn't say we're not gonna. Sorry, Queen, you finished?
No, go ahead. That's all.
And let y'all know we're not gonna call any names out. We can be petty like a lot of people, but we're not gonna do that because we are very intelligent people on here, and we can do it without calling names. But y'all know who you are, you know. And I'm really disappointed in a lot of these YouTubers that got a big following and have misled a lot of Black people. I mean, especially this other person. I mean, dude got all the knowledge of history, but the thing is, like, now you trying to be a TikTok influencer. Now you know now y'all want to have these memes and stuff, and you get paid off that type of stuff. You start seeing that money rolling in, you're like, hold on, I can get paid off this.
They getting paid off of wars.
Exactly.
Wars that we already separated. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's like, why would you do that? Because I've been in some of the comment section with these people I'm talking about, and they see one thing about them, you got loyal listeners and and people that want to listen to you every weekend, whenever you come on, they don't care. Whatever you say is right. They don't, even they know it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got a responsibility to your people to not mislead them. You know what I'm saying? People giving you a lot of money. You got some people, Lord, they gonna give you money every time you come on your live and stuff.
But the blind leads
like
the blind, though. The blind leads the blind. So if I'm misled, then I'm going to mislead you by default because I'm misled. You know, we have to stop allowing people that, you know, are suffering from glaucoma and macular degeneration and all these kind of things, and you can't see, feeling around and carrying on. Well, if you're feeling around, then I'd rather have you hold my shoulder. I don't want to hold on to you and trust you.
Yeah.
You know,
well, we got to stop looking for people to lead us.
Thank you.
And understand, like I said before, the beginning of Black Wall Street was he got some people who were smarter than him, who had more money, or just even he got people that wanted the same vision.
Yep. And I
And we
always say
gotta
this.
stop waiting. And I know that a lot of people give money because people have, I mean, I guess this is the collapse of time where Black people are tired of Black people scamming each other. The diaspora is out here, and each one of those diaspora pots is people that want to join together and do something right. And know we're about ourselves. Mr. P, it looked like you had came on. You want to say something?
He's sucking it all up.
He's in.
I know. I seen him do like this when he came in, so I figured
Mr.
that
P,
he was
before
getting
you
ready
get
to
in,
do something
like this.
Let me say this before you come in, Mr. P. And I'm gonna say this again. I told a lot of Black people, stop having y'all to be listening to a lot of these people on YouTube and Twitter and all that. Y'all just there for entertainment purposes. Y'all not doing anything in your community. You're not out there in them streets. It ain't about listening to somebody. You got to be out there working in the streets. If you're not doing that, you just a waste of space. That's how I feel. I land my plane. All right, Mr. P.
Hey, y'all.
We waiting on you, Mr. P.
All right. First thing I was thinking while I was listening to y'all talk, and I would never interrupt y'all when y'all are on the flow because I think that's valuable for everybody to hear. I remember once upon a time I was watching Jeopardy, and the category was something like Black musicians in America or something like that. And when I say that every question Alex Trebek was asking, they were looking at the screen like deers in the headlights. They had no idea, none of the answers. They just on everything. And I watched that and I said, these people don't know nothing about our culture at all. That's why they so blank. It's not that they haven't been around, it's that they're so immersed into their own culture and their own thing that they don't have no idea what happens in ours. Unfortunately, we be so immersed into theirs that we know everything about what white people are doing and what celebrity is doing this and who's doing that. A lady the other day at work asked me, she was like, Justin Trudeau is getting a divorce from his wife. Should I know? And I was like, why should you care what the Prime Minister of Canada is doing?
Exactly.
It don't have nothing to do with you. And I said that to say, when we were talking about all of these different people who are always shooting in the Diaspora Wars, and I mean shooting at each other, and FBA versus ADOS, and all of the stuff that goes down, and all of these issues that seem to splinter us even more. One of the things that I love looking at Malcolm is the NOI did not care if you weren't riding with them. When they came out, this is what we believe. This is where we at. If you with us, cool. If you're not here, go do you. The Panthers, 60s and 70s, before a lot of the infiltration, were the same way. I say that to say the best way for groups like ours and some of the others is to dim your volume a little bit on what other people are talking about, because it'll get you distracted from where we're going. In my opinion, in my not quite so humble opinion, the Diaspora Wars are intentional. Yeah. If I keep you all splintered, if I keep you all fighting, if I keep you arguing about what we're going to call ourselves, we won't actually do anything for ourselves. If I keep Yvette at Boyce's throat, if I keep Boyce at Tariq's throat, if I keep Tariq at Umar's throat, if I keep everybody bickering back and forth, we can keep it where nobody's getting anything done. The most important thing is our people. People don't have that idea right now. They have that the most important thing is their thing. I think one of the ways that we start doing that, and it's why I brought up Jeopardy, is that we immerse ourselves so far in us that we're not tripping off what other people are doing. People who want to get into the pettiness and the back and forth, and well, I'm ADOS, I'm FBA, I'm a Moor, I'm a Hebrew, I'm Black, I'm Afro-American. If we get into that, if we like, all right, whatever you gonna call yourself, dog, you call yourself that. The bottom line is, are you for your people? Exactly. Don't let them distract it. The job, as all of us know, the job of a defense attorney is not to prove somebody innocent. It's to create reasonable doubt. They would lie, cheat, and steal, and whatever it takes. They ain't even got to prove their point. All they got to do is create enough doubt. And if we're going to make the case in America for Black people that this is the direction that we need to do, you got to tune out all these defense attorneys because they create reasonable doubt. Why should I get involved with them people? They don't even know how to get along to talk to each other. And we've never had a better and easier way in America for Black people to talk to each other and get involved with each other and do movements that we do right now. We have access to the net. We have access to social media. We have access to Wi-Fi, cell phones, all of the different things that allow us to communicate in a way that Marcus couldn't, that Malcolm couldn't, that people throughout our history were unable to. I think what has to happen is Black people have to take it upon themselves to say, all that bickering, that ain't none of my business. Y'all want to do that? That's what y'all want to do. I'm going to go get focused on this thing. The only way for us to create our culture the way it is we change our culture one person at a time. And that one person at a time means that we don't get involved in the pettiness. We're going to let them do whatever they want to do at World Star. Over here at Akiba line, we're going to be focused on this. That's where I land my plane.
Perfect. Perfect. I mean,
don't everybody talk at once after. See, y'all do that every time I talk. I say something and it's almost like everybody going.
We're so engaged.
Yeah, we taking it in. Yeah, it's perfectly said. Like you said, I mean, that's what we're here for. We are so absorbed in ourselves and what the mission is, being B1, we don't have time for the rest.
We really, honestly, we, as I heard a comedian say, I lost my watch yesterday. I do not have the time. I really don't have the time to focus on. See, we have this thing in this country because when we came out of slavery, we were so splintered. And people like to act like our history doesn't matter. If I breed a pit bull 6 ways over 6 generations, these next 2 or 3 generations of puppies are going to act a certain way. So coming out of slavery, we did not have a leader. We did not have one person. We had rudderless things. And what we did is we created these different groups where we went and did things. Some of us went up north and created these towns. Some of us went down south and made other places. Some of us went out west, and we did that. And we got this idea in our head somewhere around all of the violence and things we went through in the beginning of the 20th century that we needed one person. And then Marcus came along, and that one person had this big, huge movement. And we're like, we all need to follow. And when they tore Marcus down, then the NOI came, or the church came. And now let's follow that one person. And what we didn't understand, and what we never understand, is you never need one person. Even in a kingdom, that king never runs a kingdom by himself. There's always more than one person. We don't need to have one leader over 40 million people. All we need to do is have 4 million leaders over 10 people each, or whatever it is. If everybody would just lead and not try to step on everybody else, we can achieve what it is we're trying to achieve for our people. But we're so used to being splintered. You've heard me use a phrase before. We're so used to hyper individualism that the idea of us all doing this together has begun to sound like communism or capitalism or church or, man, the only thing that matters is all of us coming together to get our people where they need to go. And you can do some of that in the church. You can do some of that in the mosque. You can do some of that through the Black organizations. You can do some of that through everywhere we are, as long as we are on that focus. And the problem is a lot of these dudes ain't on that focus. So what we gonna do is we let those people who are being selfish on their thing do them, and we will continue to do us.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
How it gonna work, brother? You right. I mean, the individualism thing, man. That's like a counts in our community. It's like I got mine, you get yours. You know what I'm saying? And then it's I see it too much. A lot of Black people really don't care what's going on in the community. Like you got some that's doing, especially the bootlegs and type, bootleg type and the Divine Nine. They like, I don't see racism. So that's what I'm saying. We talking about the Diaspora Wars and going against brothers and sisters over in another country. You got to deal with the ones here. The problem is, I tell everybody, your real enemy is those liberal Black people, the ones that's loyal to the Democratic Party, as in them old organizations and stuff. We need to handle that first before we even thinking about trying to check. Really,
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, you got it.
Can I speak to that? I say this as a person who was in the Republican Party for 12 years. Yeah. I say this as a person who was the president of one Black Republican organization and the vice president of another, as a person who did precinct walking, as a person who did petitions, who campaigned for people, the whole nine. The Black conservative is every bit the enemy of the community that the Black liberal is.
I agree. Yeah.
They just enemies on different fronts.
Yeah. They don't believe it's racist.
The Black liberal cares more about what the other people are doing than they do us. And they care more about a Democrat agenda than they do about a Black agenda. The Black conservative is very similar. Cares only about getting that pat on the head from the white guys who tell them that they're the different kinds of Black people. One of them wants you to think only about their principles. The other one wants you to think only about their party. And none of them think about our people. Now, having said that, there's a million things that you could do from that Black liberal side for Black people if your agenda is Black nationalist. Yes. There's a million things you could do for Black people from that Black conservative side if your agenda is Black nationalist. Yeah. When the nationalism is at the top of the pyramid and everything comes down from there, you can do some stuff. The same goes with the HBCUs. The same goes with the fraternities. The same can even go for the old guard people like the NAACP and Urban League. If your agenda is nationalist, meaning a nationalist, the reason why we always talk about white nationalism, all of that, nationalism means your primary focus is on one group or one ethnicity. Exactly. That's why they talk about nationalist movements around the world. These are people who are saying, forget all of this multiculturalism. I want to focus on our ethnicity. When we in this country get focused on our ethnicity and what is best for them and what is not, then we got it. Yeah. But both sides teach you to not be focused on our ethnicity. Democrats teach you to focus on being Democrat gatekeepers, and Republicans do the same thing. And if you gatekeeping for white politics, you can't be a nationalist.
And then you have Black people. I was on my TikTok live today. They were like, well, if you don't vote, for this certain party, you vote for the other. Like you just said, it don't matter, because if you don't have a Black interest, if you don't have a Black agenda, why it don't matter who I vote for. That's crazy. Like, and then I'm saying the Black.
Let me speak to that one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ooh, let me speak to that one. Ooh, see, I was trying to be quiet. See, this is what happened. I say this too, and I know I disagree with some people who say this. Anything that people keep you from doing has to be something important. If they want to keep you from doing it, it means something. And for more than 100 years in this country, they wanted to keep us from voting. Because your vote means something. You know why your vote meant something back then? Because you were voting for something that was in your interest.
Thank you.
Black people were voting for Republicans, not so they could get that, here, you did so good, little black boy, but because Republicans were saying, we're going to bank your schools, we're going to bank your businesses, you got something out of it. You were not voting just to keep the other guy away. And that's what they want you voting for now. If you don't vote for Biden, you're going to get Trump. And you know what's going to happen to you when you get Trump? Last I checked, it meant your home ownership went up. It meant that your black businesses went up. It meant that HBCUs got more funding. It meant that they fought more against illegal immigration. You know, all the things that help black people.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But they end up telling you that one agenda means more for black people. And that's the problem. They want to tell you that your agenda means what everybody else's agenda is. They tell you not to deal with trickle down economics while they still giving you trickle down health, trickle up healthcare, and trickle up homeowners and trickle up everything else. They just want you to trickle. Nobody's focused on you. So until they focus on you, don't focus on them.
So
exactly. Hold on. Let me play something to add into what y'all are saying. Okay. Because like the leader that they want us to remember is Martin Luther King, but Martin Luther King started telling, I think it was other people that he believed he's integrating his people into a burning house where we started accepting piggybacks off of other people. So I want to play this. Hold on.
And those in the movement were offered positions.
Hold on, I'm gonna replay. Hold on 1 second.
After Dr. King's death, the movement became dissipated, and those in the movement were offered positions in Pharaoh's house. No, let's look at this. And that seemed to be satisfactory because, after all, they were integrationists. They never really wanted to leave Pharaoh. They wanted a place with Pharaoh. This is why Dr. King himself said, quote, that his movement is a revolt against these Negroes in the middle class who have indulged themselves in big cars and ranch-style homes rather than enjoying a movement for freedom. What's the matter? You don't like Dr. King now? It's not wrong to have a nice car and a ranch-style home. Dr. King didn't mean that. But if you let the big car, ranch-style home, the big salary in corporate America keep you away from a movement for the freedom of your people, then, as the Holy Quran says, those who live easy lives have to be careful, because a life of ease sometimes makes you forget struggle.
The minister did not lie.
Boy, I ain't even heard that one. Man, that was
the minister did not lie.
He
at
killed
all.
that brother. Woo, boy. He killed
the minister.
And that's where we're at now. That's why we got the Diaspora Wars now.
Changed since the 60s, bro. That's crazy. Even so, let me tell you what happened. So those black people who took them jobs and pretty much walked away from the movement, they taught their children, and their children taught their kids, and that's where we at right now.
And they taught their children to hide the racism and don't say nothing about the racism because they were getting the perks. And they backed the little white kids who were being taught that what they were doing was okay, and to hide the racism and to back the racism. And here we are today. Go ahead.
Yep.
Y'all ever seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
Oh, yeah. Classic.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember the part he goes to talk to Karinga? That's like the Panther guy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, man, I'm sick of these gold chains in the community. Clarence Williams III, that's who it is, with his loud.
Yeah.
He's like, yes. He said, I want to take down all of this stuff. Yes. Now, brother, will you help me? Yeah. I can't. And he's like, brother, what happened? The people used to be 1,000 strong. What happened? He said, niggas got government jobs.
Yep.
He said they went down to the county building. They was going to take it over. But they were hiring that day. said, if brothers went in with guns, they came out with jobs.
Wow.
And that's
funny.
how our enemy tricked us. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, this is how they tricked us to add. They took us from our homelands. No matter what we say we are, we don't know the truth, because we could have been part of Rosewood. We could have been part of Black Wall Street, Lake Lanier, Africa, Asia. We don't know.
Yeah.
But they took us in this, and then when they seen the fight, like I said, how they built Black Wall Street was togetherness. They found out we worked together as slavery so-called ended because of the togetherness.
Can I piggyback with that, Queen?
Go ahead.
Can I piggyback on that? I love this. It was togetherness on how we built all of these great communities.
Exactly.
And it was the togetherness that they forced. They told them in Tulsa, you can't live no further than this. We don't want you here. And you know what our forefathers said? I bet. Everybody, come stay over here. We got you.
Yep.
They said you can't live on this side. We didn't say, well, how come we can't live over there? We should go live over there. We should have the right to go live on that side and go live over there with them because we're. Listen,
I got to piggyback off of you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And that's what I mean by they make us not see reality. They got us stuck on the negative. We can't get what they want, what they have, but we're not focusing on what we got.
Exactly. And you know what?
We got what we got.
And I got to go back to this, y'all. I got to do this. So when I had these discussions in these rooms with people, all this diaspora war crap, and just, I got mine, you get your type of mentality of Black people, individualism and stuff. I tell a lot of people, I say, all this don't mean nothing, because at the end of the day, when you look at Black wealth, we don't have, but like I said, from 1863, we had 1% of wealth make up the wealth in America. That's how much we as a people. 2023, 1.5%. That's sick. That's like you can't even sit. I ain't talking about you gotta sit at the table, but you can't even negotiate that with anybody because you don't even have any deal. But you have the resources. We got it, but we just don't. It's sad. That's 100. That's like 500 years, right?
How does 13% of the population create trillions of dollars? That means it's more than us. Yeah. There's more of us out here than 13%.
Of course.
We're spread it out, and all these corporations and these jobs creating all this money, and we're dumping it right back into their economy, and we don't.
Let's say that I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's 13%. Let's just say it is. And then let's say that it's a trillion plus whatever it is. Let's say it is. Just imagine if I took half that trillion and took it out the economy and put it in ours.
Exactly.
I ain't even saying the whole trillion, just the 500 billion. Just take 500 billion out that economy. Take 500. Every Black person withdrew from Wells Fargo, withdrew from Bank of America, withdrew from Citibank. If every Black person stopped using the gas stations in your community that aren't owned by that Black guy who's got the one down the street that none of us want to go to, if all of us stopped going to Food for Less and Stater Brothers and Ralph's, if all of us stop using Tide, if all of us stop using Secret deodorant, if all of us stop using all of the stuff that they do and came over and put it in our community and circulated amongst our stuff, I'm not saying nothing new, dog. Marcus said this. Malcolm said this in the last speech. Everybody loves to quote the I have a dream speech, and nobody ever wants to quote what Martin said. Take your money out them insurers and put it over here with our Black insurers. Take that money out of their stuff. We need to circulate our own wealth and build our own people. Don't nobody like to talk about those speeches because that's not the smiling little grandfather Martin they like to hear. They don't like to talk about when he said, all right, You didn't give black people land. You gave it to these white foreigners. But not only did you give it to the white foreigners, you trained them on how to use it. But not only did you train them on how to use it, but you gave them the equipment to do it at a discounted rate. Not only did you give them the equipment at the discounted rate, but you trained them on how to use the equipment, how to use the land. You want to talk to us about what we need to do, pull up by bootstraps, and we ain't got no mother you know what in boots. Nobody likes to talk about those speeches because they don't let them off the hook.
Talk about it is because they're erasing the history. Because if you talk about slavery, then you talk about what happened after slavery, and then what we never was taught in school is that we're never taught the positive after slavery. There was nothing positive of slavery but us fighting together. After slavery, we built all these towns. We just keep forgetting this big hunk of history. We built all these towns. How? What did we do? That means during slavery, we did something. We stuck together. Yep. We put our money together. After slavery, we had built millions of acres that they stole from us. They don't talk about how they stole it. That's why I said we need reparations for after slavery, because we don't know if our family owned some of them acres. And a lot of these acres were strong armed with white men with guns that went to these "don't do this" in that small town song. They went to these small towns and they did what they want, and they still running those little country races behind police stations till this day, that they keep passing seat after seat down to the same people that look like them. We don't look at after slavery when we built these towns and we stuck together. They don't want to teach us that because they don't want us to repeat it, and then to insult us by saying that we shouldn't have reparations because we wouldn't know what to do with the money. Yes, we would, if we just stopped some of these drifters, or grifters as they say, from coming in the black community, pulling money and giving false hope.
Think about it. I always say this. So what?
Once again, I think. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned that about.
No. Go ahead. You go.
I'm glad that Queen Tina mentioned that about the Reconstruction after slavery, how we built Black Wall Street, Lakeland, there, Oscarville, Georgia, Rosewood. It's 200 black towns that was thriving after that. So what gave our people the drive to do what?
At least.
At least drive, it had to be independent, but. Why we don't have that same drive now as a people? Because if your wealth is still the same,
they found out the master key. They separated us, and how they separate us in our music and letting us in. Like y'all said, we went in fighting. We came out with money in our pocket. Oh, just take money in this job.
You're right. That's crazy.
Government jobs. We got to wear the white man's shoes and sit in the white man's chair, and we didn't want our chair. We gave up our Negro as so-called leagues. We gave up our own baseball and basketball teams and stuff. Exactly. If you read your history, their games were so boring. They wanted black people in their game.
Yeah, that's crazy. You had your own baseball team. You had more back before we integrated than we got now. And I know a lot of black people,
but they don't want us to repeat our history. They don't teach us our history to show us what we had, because they want us to go back to the Africa theory. Y'all just some crazy Negroes running around uncouth and uneducated when that is not the truth.
Definitely not the truth.
We add everything to this country,
to the world.
It's what we always do.
To the world.
I'll get to the world. I'll get to the planet. But I'm specifically focused on us. Since unfortunately, since this country it spins the top of the rest of the planet, they always say if America catches a cold, the rest of the world gets sick. But the same thing happened. If it's big here, it's big everywhere else. Me and my boy is a music scholar and a music teacher, and I've been in music my whole life, so we love to talk shop. And we were talking about how I was laughing at him. Told him one time this pastor had told his band start playing some blues, and they looked at him crazy. He's like, "Y'all heard what I said? Play," and they started playing. He said, "Gospel ain't nothing but watered down blues anyway," and we started laughing. Because then we were like, well, rock and roll, if you look at Led Zeppelin, and if you look at the Rolling Stones and all of these bands were playing blues songs. Because blues is critical. So you look at heavy metal today and you look at Jimi Hendrix. who is actually playing blues if you really listen to him. Modern music, pop music ain't nothing but watered down R&B. All the music that exists in this country, with the exception of classical, has its roots in us. Even country, them Appalachian people was out there listening to the same hymns and same things that we was singing. And that's why some of them folk down there got such powerful voices, because they've been listening to us. There would be no music if there's no jazz. There would be no music if there's no blues. Baseball was saved by Black people. Football would be golf if it wasn't for Black people. And you're like, well, these things don't mean anything. If they didn't mean anything, you wouldn't still be putting billions of dollars behind them.
We got to put our own history. It's an insult that we come up with a sport and only white men own you in a football team, and we keep playing when we could just take them same talents and go somewhere else. But you want to be on the white man's newscast. You want to get the white man's trophy so he could single you out from your brothers and sisters. See, it was a point where we all know that Black men have strength and Black women have wisdom, and we all are great together. But we want to be singled out by master like we still on a plantation when master used to give that slave certain privileges, just like Life. Look at the movie Life. They all had something to do with it, but they only wanted the talent. They wanted Eddie Murphy and and Martin Lawrence thought they were going to piggyback because they were his handlers. They would teach.
Can't get right.
Can't beat right.
Can't get right.
Plantation. And what did he tell them? You know how this is. I can't bring all y'all. We want to be singled out by master because since our mind, we on a plantation. But our people back then didn't think of it like that. They'd seen another space and like, well, hell, fuck it. We ain't got to go over there. Let's all go over here and build together. You know
the phrase? D-Maze, you remember the track?
Which one?
You remember the track? Is Tupac and MC Breed. I got to get mine. Oh, yeah. You got to get yours.
Yep. They made it here in the line. In the video.
The OGs in the hood will tell you. OGs tell you, game is to be sold, not told.
Exactly.
They will not give you nothing. We don't hand stuff down. Hey, how much you got? That's the only way we do it. The idea of us, I promise, when I've read about the Jews in Hollywood and how the Jews took their money and built their communities and built hospitals and synagogues and all of their stuff, all of the wealth that they got, did they get their houses? They sure did. Did they also build their communities? Did they also make it a way to create a whole nation of Israel by their wealth? If it wasn't for the American Jew, it wouldn't have been no nation of Israel.
Yep.
At all. That money pumped in from what came from here.
If it wasn't for the Black talent that they got their money from, they wouldn't have that.
Exactly.
Which brings me all the way back. If we just said, you know what? We're going to do what y'all did and take our talent and make it this way. And to y'all watch, we're going to do what y'all did and just take it. And take us to court for it.
Move out these expensive white neighborhoods.
And check this out. That's why
all they got to do is get their money and pull away. Stop riding the Rolls Royces. It's gonna, if you die, that Rolls Royce is gonna sit there. Stop riding the Bentleys.
But my thing is
something and start building a community.
Build off.
Do that because they don't get to shine. They don't get to be seen.
Because if you do it, watch this. And this is, people will call this Afrofuturism, and they'll say that I'm being utopian. But watch this. So we've taken this money, right? Our athletes and our actors have started taking the money, and we started to build our own hospitals. We started to build our own colleges, our own infrastructures, right? Now we're building up. We're moving in our own communities, right? So this one guy who used to work at Ford says, you know what? We can do this just as well. All I got to do is get some backing for some VCs. He goes and he's now created a whole black car company separate from that. Now our money, instead of going to there, is going to that black car company. You can't get that black car company though till you got that education, till you have those law firms, till you have those accountants, till you have that. And we can't get that if we keep running off to PWIs and going to give them, that's called a brain drain. Exactly. If all of our best and brightest keep running off to college where they at, Then you acclimate to college. Most of the time isn't even going to give you the full education. It's just giving you the connections and the culture that you're going to roll with. Exactly. And so if you're going off to PWIs, to white colleges, you're making white connections, you're making white culture, which means you move to white communities, you move with white people. Most of the time they got white wives. And so now color doesn't mean anything to you. And I understand why it doesn't, because your wife is white and your kids are half white and your neighbors are half white. And you immersed yourself so far in that you can't even get yourself out.
Yep. And I would say
you stuck.
And I would say this too. And you know,
until you wake up and realize, dang.
Listen, I got no problem with black people living nice. You know, you want your nice little car, whatever. But my thing is this, like I'm going back to I said earlier, if we only make up 1.5% of this nation wealth, the math ain't math. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't say like either we really can't afford that or we out here flogging like we've got it like that. Because I know some people.
We out here flogging. A lot of people on YouTube or TikTok wearing a Louis Vuitton or a Chanel.
A lot of them in debt and they act like they got it like that. And I'm like, no, because I could be dirty. I could call a lot of people out. I know, boy. I'm talking about y'all be on Facebook.
They're talking about right now with JT. Let's talk about JT. You had $10 million. It don't take that much with black folks. We know we can eat some oodle noodles. It's the stuff we want to do. We can have the same tasting food under each other, but now he has a little bit. Why? Because he has a Rolls Royce. I seen it in the video. You built a black house because you want to compete with the White House, but you did not want to compete with the education. You want to compete. We are in a competing in negative energy instead of looking like, hey, what is the best thing I can do with this $10 million that is going to benefit my people for real? And as we look at Tariq Nasheed, they say that museum that is out there. Okay, we supposed to have a museum, but we don't. And that's just the damn truth. You've been holding parties. You took your money, and then I seen another video where you're bragging that you're standing in $1 million house with marble counters. And so,
and that's what I'm saying right there.
It's not going in the right places.
You're not disciplined.
No, it's not even about discipline, dog. That's not discipline. You literally just don't give up about your people.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't be.
Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask all of y'all a question. Yeah. Example number one. All of us live in the same community, right? We all live in this black community together, right? Our community is working class at best, right? Ain't none of us, maybe we not homeless, but we not balling. We got a congressman who's over us from our community, but dog got a 7,000 square foot house and marble floors. Wouldn't we all be upset? All of us would be a little pissed off that this dude looked like he living off us, right? Let me give another example. We all in the same community. We all go to the same church. We all struggling. Pastor got a 7,000 square foot house and he got marble floors. We all kind of pissed, right? How is Tariq any different than any of these people? How are the Black Lives Matter people any different than any of these people? None of us care. None of us care about you living good, dog. I promise. Well, I promise I like nice stuff, but I'm not about to go get nice stuff from people who don't care about my people. You see these all the time.
A whole town, you could buy a whole town for $1 million to $10 million, and this man blew away $10 million trying to look like a white rich man.
All I'm saying, you could have watched this. You could have let me fuel the ego, okay? Let me fuel. You want to live like a baller? You want to be watch this. Great kings and nobles of the past used to have these big, gigantic manor homes like Downton Abbey, and they had a whole village down the hill that would serve their need. Why wouldn't you buy that whole village? You can bring black people in there to work the fields. Now you provide jobs. Now you got industry, and you can really do both. You ain't got to go live next door to them white folks who care nothing about you. You could have built your own city and really called yourself a king off of 10 million in this country.
Facts.
Could have bought
You
a
ain't
whole
even gotta
town.
you ain't even gotta go to
You ain't
Haiti. You ain't even gotta go to Haiti. You can do that here.
No, look at this. What I was gonna say, boys. You had all these black women on your team. You had the whole means to create a school. You charge $2,000, $3,000, $1,000 for classes, and ain't nan one of them classes because I took them and still had to pay, even though I was on Fly Nubian Queen. If it wasn't for Nicole Compton just reaching out, none of those classes really showed me how to really do my business. You give enough so that you can keep black people coming back. That could have been a real school teaching. Them classes could have been designated where you bring in history. One thing I could give Tariq Nasheed credit about is he knew how to bring in a bunch of scholars to give us knowledge.
That don't sound like the black church folk too. I'm gonna give you enough to keep you coming back to the pulpit every Sunday.
Struggling every day in these white daycares, and you got a black church on every corner, but the church ain't being used for nothing but prayer and hope. You could be opening that up and having a safe place for these black women to bring kids and daycare, and pastors could be learning how to get assistance to create child care centers. We got all the tools.
churches.
It's just being used wrong.
Yep.
That's true.
Because it's the same thing. I gotta get mine. You gotta get yours. It comes back to it every time.
But like when we go back on talking about being on code, I think that being on code, we expect our black people to be on code. We're not, because the vision is different. And we have to accept that the vision is different. So because, like all the people that we just named, some of these pastors, leaders, Black Coalition, all because they, again, like we all can agree, they look black. It does not mean they have our best interests at heart. And they show that, they prove that. Don't disagree with somebody when they tell you who they really are. We have to define what being on code is, and being on code is not just saying I'm black. It's tapping into that essence. It's walking with those bootstraps strapped up. It is pouring into and building. And not even just rebuilding, but building fresh. We have to get rid of these old idealizations that have been holding us back. So I think with us being on code, we have to recognize what that means. When D. Mays, he talks about economics all the time. I'm saying it's a holistic approach. Economics is the basis of it, but we can't sit here. It's really ignorant for us to let somebody tell us that we don't deserve, not even deserve, that we have not earned or we're not due certain amenities that everybody else got, that it should be human rights. It shouldn't even be an argument. So the fact that it is, why are we arguing about something that we have rights to?
Facts.
And that's
solution time, y'all. What we always do, solutions.
Yeah, can I get one?
They want to put it on money, but I was thinking we need more than money, and I want to start a campaign for us. We want the money, but we want land so that we can go rebuild. We want access to the education. We want access to land and housing and education. Because don't tell us what we're not going to do with the money. Give us the access to education and leaders and scholars that can assist us, and programs just like you have us lining up for damn food stamps and welfare and Section 8. You can line us up with financial advisors for each one of these black people that's going to get money. And it's not hard to understand who needs it, because if you had to get a visa in the past, since the 1800s, and you had to get a visa to come over here, then you were not in America. If you were born in the projects and you was lived in the projects and you've been around, or not just that, if you in low income, if you've been here in America and you've been black, you've been oppressed. Unless you've been living somewhere else, it's not hard to figure out who you need to give this money to.
But I'll give you one up, Queen. Look at this. So one up, Queen, not just even release those funds so that someone else in government can dish it out, just like with everything else. No, like that we need leaders that have programs. So we do have healthcare, providers that are black. We have people that are into politics that are black, that can actually, be at the forefront. The UEOA can be the forefront of these things. And I know we've lost trust with, Black Lives Matter, all these organizations, but we need people that are in the forefront, that we're not allowing the government anymore to be like, okay, yes, we will give you this money for, healthcare, but then it's still bottom basement healthcare. Yes, we'll give you this money for education, but you'll sort of learn the way we want you to learn. That's not how it's going to work.
No, we want every Black person credit to be up. We want every Black person to have a universal health card where we can go to any doctor that we want. We want we want land where we can build hospitals and schools in each state, because you got land that has been confiscated. You got cars and stuff for drug dealers. If a Black person is in a certain, it don't take much. I can go and find a bunch of Black people because they're working at your McDonald's and your corporations. We know who's struggling and who's not. They act like they don't know who to give it to. They don't want it, because when we get on our feet, there goes that $500 billion that Mr. P was just talking about that we need to pull from their system. And because we can't pull a half of that $1 trillion, 500 billion from that system, they don't want us to get together in our groups and use that money for ourselves. They want to keep finding ways for us to insert ourselves into their lives. They found the hidden key to switch us from togetherness to be to these Diaspora Wars in every level.
Yep. I would say my I guess you'd say solution is this: Black people, we got to hit reset button. Just teach your children, man, like the importance of group economics and reparations. Because we can't let this die with us.
A lot of them can't teach their children because they don't know themselves. Right. What we have to really understand is that when we're talking to people, you got to follow somebody, not for them to get your money, but you got to follow somebody that's going to teach you. Teaching, it's not hard to get together. Like me, Kathy, and a bunch of us went together and got land. It's not hard to put together money and say, hey, we're going to put this down payment on the land. We know now you got to get stuff. You got to get stuff notarized and document it when you put money together. It's just that you cannot just keep throwing your money at somebody and letting them figure it out. Now with us, we're a group of people. And if you give money, we're going to get your name. You're going to get involved. That's what we are trying to represent, something different for a change.
We are representing. We're not trying. We are a queen.
Yes,
we are.
Exactly. We are. Normal people does not do what we're doing. We're not trying to be the leaders. We're trying, all our vision is to see all our kids getting along, doing something together. We're not going to everything not going to be the same. Even if we have a plot of land and the Hebrew Israelites is over there and the Christians over there, whatever you want to do, at the end of the day, we need to put Black first. And that's what is B1, putting us first. And I know we got to wrap up and get out of here. So everybody say something too. Play the video.
And Black people, please, you can support a Black-owned business online. You don't have to actually go to a physical store. You can it's a lot of Black businesses online. So find one you can support at least twice, couple of days out the week or monthly. You know what I'm saying? Because like Mr. P was saying earlier about the Jews, they made a pact back in 45 when they came out of that whole thing in Germany. They made a pact. All the other groups made a pact. The Chinese studied from America because they was struggling for a while, and they had a 50-year plan. It's not gonna be overnight, y'all. I'm just being real. It's gonna take some years, but we trying to set up for the next generation.
It don't have to take some years. It do not. Yeah. We look at them building the community. When you speak on it takes some years. No, it don't. It just have to take Black people open up their mind and doing something right there. It don't have to take years. If you would just take half of what you're doing, what Mr. P was saying. Look at, I spend money with white people. We got no choice. Where I'm at, like somebody said, I ain't got nobody Black on the shop with. So I have to be cautious of every now and then, not every now and then, half of my time and half of my money needs to go towards Black efforts, either donating to somebody Black. I donate to us because we do stuff among each other, putting my money in certain stuff. It's not like you're going to avoid white people altogether, but if you can take half of what you're doing, that is the start in taking half of that $500 billion out of this white man's $1 trillion credit card that we're giving them. Mr. P got his.
I just want to say, because I know we finna close out. To piggyback on what the Queen was just saying, I'm not even saying half. Two things that I would say as we talk about solutions. I'm not even saying half. But put your money where your people are, somewhere, and walk in where your people do, somehow. The two most important things that people have messed this up in this country over. are our economy and our culture. Walk in your own culture for starters. Be you. You know how we say, oh, you can't act like that around white people. I would say what I'm going to say about that, but I'd have to curse. So I'm trying not to curse. But it sounds something to the effect of, F what they think, do what we do. Don't tiptoe around nobody else. You be black. I'm not telling you to be a nigga. I'm telling you to be black.
Not
See the
ignorant,
difference?
not just talking loud. If you talk loud like me, you just talk loud. But you ain't got to be ignorant. Black, stop representing the ignorant, the negative part of black. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. But walk in your blackness. Don't be afraid to walk in your hair and how you talk and how you act and how you have with your family. Don't change your name to make them more comfortable. Don't change what you do to make them more comfortable. Start there.
Hey,
Just
good
start
example.
with that.
Listen, I'll say this real quick. I always want to say this. I always forget this. When I look at other groups, Asians, Hispanics, whoever, one thing I know about them people, they're not going to let their culture go. They're going to speak their language. They're going to speak their language with pride. We got to have, I mean, I know we got our like Tutnese and stuff like that, but we got to be the same way. We got to have pride. Black
they
first.
will disrespect you while you talking to them and look right at you and look at each other and talk their language right in the middle of a conversation with yourself.
So if you want to learn one, if you want to learn Tutnese, I've been looking at Swahili a lot. I got a whole lot of words that I have in mind, whatever those are. But if you also want to talk to your people the way you talk to your people, every single one of us here who has been a professional understands how to speak in the presence of other professionals. We know how to do it. But dog, don't tell me how to talk to my people. You know what I mean? How we talk is how we talk. Word? That's how we talk.
Exactly.
That's number one. Number two is put your money where your mouth is. Find one. Find one black. I have the luxury of having a black loctician and a black barber who I go to regularly. That's cool. There used to be a black hair care place up here. It's very hard for black people to have a successful hair care place because the monopoly of the Asians is so great. But anytime you can get something from one of us that you can get just as easy as you can get, or even if it's a little harder, dog, make that one stretch an account of your soap. And I don't just mean kente cloth. I mean stuff that you need. Laundry soap, light bulbs, all of these places are online. You ain't even got to look hard. I got 2 black-owned watches, trying to get about 7 others. It's easy. It's just the step. Ain't nobody telling you that you got to completely change your name to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed Abdul. I ain't even telling you to go that far. What I'm telling you to do, I ain't even telling you to do that. What I'm telling you is walk in your people, culturally and economically. Put your money and your behavior where your people are. And that's a start toward everything that we're talking about.
Right.
Exactly.
And I know we're about out of time, but here's this to sum this all up. I hope everyone enjoyed this conversation. And if you did, please like and share. Don't just share like one time. Share on your social media platforms. Share with someone that you think can benefit from this, right? Because these are just not conversations. So definitely go to our websites and visit what's going on, and we'll do one up for you, okay? If you can subscribe to our websites, especially the United Empires of Akibalan website, we don't mind. If you have a black business, we don't mind putting up black businesses, even if it's online. That would be great because we can't always get to somewhere in our neighborhoods, right? So if we have black businesses that we can put online and support you, we can get this started. I know there's a lot of other platforms that offer this, right? We Buy Black, all kinds of things, but we're just going to, not reinvent the wheel, but it's another place for you to go to find black businesses to support. We definitely want you to support the United Empires of Akibalan because we are making changes. We are making a difference. We want you to keep up with these conversations that we're having. Again, this is not for entertainment. This is for empowerment. So please keep up with the conversations that we're having by subscribing to our websites, okay? We would love it if you are connected with us, if you'd like to dive into citizenship, $10 a month. $10 a month to support us buying land for all of us is doable. I won't say it's nothing, but it's doable because I understand we're all going through financially. but definitely check that out. And
And
think
if you
about
want to
supporting us.
chat with us too, tell them that follow us on Melanated People. We have a group, the UEOA, and y'all check out Melanated People. Even if you just go over there once a day just to drop in. I know a lot of Black people join, but we're going to be active on Melanated People. And that is a place we talk with the CEO. That's a place where you're not going to get shadow banned and different things like that where we can talk. So you'll see us utilizing melanated people more.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna play a video when we all go again. I'm gonna play the video again of Akibalon and our store for the Good Morning from Africa Town. So go ahead and finish, Queen.
Oh, I'm done, Queen. That's all. That's all.
We
Thank you all for
good.
tuning in.
We good, I think, y'all. Yeah, it was a good one, y'all.
Yeah, I put
Yeah.
some things in the chat. Well, one thing, Ice Cube has his own league, and I think we should support him.
Oh yeah, no doubt, I do. Yeah,
So
no doubt.
yeah,
It'd be great. We need to put on our website different Black businesses to support. Hopefully, if you got a Black business, email us, and then maybe we can link up. And then that way, every Black business. I'm not trying to be funny because I wouldn't say go support Boyce Watkins, because to me, your Black business is doing nothing but taking money out the community and putting it back in the white community because you want to go. I seen his vacation. You go on that vacation, you talk about Black this, but you in Denmark and you in all these white countries that
Hey,
so
that is amazing to me.
That's your boy
that we cannot support.
Out of all them Caribbean countries you could have went to, all them man, have y'all ever seen pictures of Seychelles and the Cape Verde Islands and them African islands? What are you going to Denmark for?
In France and Paris, because y'all still got the mind of when it's time to vacation, you go where Master told y'all.
Because their beer is still colder.
Money.
Their beer is still colder than yours. I would love.
Businesses I'm not supporting, because if you're going to take my Black dollars and go visit some white country, I don't need to support you.
Look, I don't know if we on air or not. I'm just saying it's part of my fantasy. Yes. I had told somebody before, my fantasy was to be wealthy enough to be like, oh no, the only place we summer is off the African coast. You still go to Europe? Oh God.
Really? I like that. I love
it. We only do the Caribbean and Africa. Really? You go to Europe? That doesn't bother you being around all of
it's like when I seen that video of him and his niece in Denmark and all that, I'm like, so you want to rub? It's like you still get that slave mentality. I'm finna go over here and show all the people how I go and spend my money with the white countries, and then you yell B1. That's why I said some of our places you spending your Black dollars, and we know like we buy Black in different places are good, but we do got to do our research on what are you doing. And I'm gonna hold Black people accountable, because we think because we're in diaspora and we done had this and that, we're not supposed to hold each other accountable. Women, we need to be held accountable because we have let these gay men take our places, and we welcomed them in the door, and we sit up here and gave ourselves the stereotype that all we're good for is twerking and being sexualized, and we own it like it's something to be proud of. Our Black men are being stereotyped and sexualized too, where these white women want them. They, y'all want to not say y'all, but not want to be the father in the radio and the music, and just showing how a Black man should kill each other and have all these multiple baby mamas. We have done this for ourselves, and so we are here to take back the narrative.
Yeah,
that's right.
Definitely.
See how everybody got quiet when you said all of that? That's how I be feeling every time I say something.
Things are running through my head. Things are running through my head because when she was talking about the Black women, I'm thinking about the Kardashians. Like nobody ever calls her Kardashians like dots and all these names, and they then ran through the whole.
Yeah, we let it.
Like that's what I was.
We got to change that energy.
I had to bring it back.
And I will say this too.
We got to pull our people's minds into another energy of seeing yourself. See, you only can see yourself as far as your imagination, and imagination that's been planted in our head as children is the videos we see. Shake your ass, be a hood rat, be a drug dealer, not nothing else. We don't see ourselves running Black Wall Street and stuff. That we always look at that as the heaven that we're going to go to. When we die, we're gonna go to Black Wall Street and all this stuff. We imagine a heaven with our enemies. No,
We have to remember these black
What'd you say,
inventors
Queen?
that invented things, all these black inventors, these that had their inventions stolen from them. We have to remember they invented these things out of necessity, out of survival, you know. So we have to reinvent
To
our
do the white
mindset.
man's job.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to
Yes, that's
reinvent
why
how
it's an
we
insult
think.
with the Florida saying we got something out of slavery. No, y'all got a lot of shit out of slavery. All our inventions, all our recipes. We taught y'all to turn
Corporations that
garbage into
exist to this day.
Facts.
Or here go another Republican one. Well, that was the South. Big homie. The
Oh,
North
No, it wasn't
benefited
everywhere.
plenty. Everybody in
That's why
America
y'all
was
came up with
benefiting
the
from slave
union.
labor. Stop
That's why
it.
they didn't want free slavery, because we had to teach y'all the jobs, and then y'all turned around and made the unions, and now we joined these unions, but the unions was protecting white jobs, not black jobs. So
There
we
are
a
laws on
lot
the
of
books. There were laws
so
on the books that were limiting how much we could leave in the Great Migration, because the South
exactly
was losing people and the North wanted to protect white men jobs. So they literally put laws on the books against our immigration in our own country.
And then when white men came in taking land and shooting and killing us, they put a law that so that a black person could not testify against a white person. That was one of the black codes. And then white people could not testify. And if you were white, you would be ostracized against white communities. So they did not just do the things, they put laws in place so that to prevent us from ever rebuilding together again normally, like they do. We
And it's
were
good.
not part of the American dream.
All it takes is groups like ours. This group starts.
hey y'all,
That's my bad.
I'm sorry. I don't know if y'all heard about what happened in Montgomery.
What are you listening?
Yeah, I was looking at that
Wow.
video. Y'all go look at the video. It say the Montgomery River boat. When that was making me proud. That was an example of black folks sticking together for a change.
Man, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Somebody hit me to it. Well, what do we do in Montgomery?
Well, it was this white man, black dude. I don't know what happened. He got hit by a white dude, and all these white people, men and women, was jumping him. I don't know if the other black people knew him or not, but black people came out the woodwork. Even a black dude jumped in the water and swam over there, and they started fighting back. And they got to fight.
I'm gonna check that out. You should play it, Queen.
I gotta do a short.
It was a white or black royal, so you cannot tell me
you should play it
color, because they knew who not to hit and who to hit back.
Exactly.
It was black on white because the white started.
Shout out to the clone.
Not trying to be funny.
You should play it, Queen. You should play it.
They were whooping them with chairs. It was
that's beautiful, man.
When they got the gene, they got the energy of sticking together, and they started fighting together.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking
about. I'm gonna do something on it in a minute.
Unity. Yeah. That's unity.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Oh, they don't like that.
That's what they feared in that video. They feared it. That's what they fear to this day, because when we all band together, they cannot kill us. They cannot get rid of us. They cannot stomp on us, because they were so comfortable when all of the white people came and jumped on that one black man. And no police came until the black people started fighting back.
That's what say. Somebody help that brother, boy. You saw everybody start coming in.
And then when they got you, at first they were hesitant to hit them back, and then it was all that fear got lost, and they was fighting back, and everybody knew who to hit each other because everybody had on their skin uniforms, white and black.
Montgomery. Shout out to the brothers in Montgomery.
Shout out to Montgomery. Montgomery, stand up.
Hashtag. All right, y'all.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
here we go, y'all. Yeah.
Okay, we are out of it. It say a white hit a black child in the face twice with a soda bottle and something down there, but they was fighting back because the black man took the chair on Karen's head. That's the only reason. But
I've seen it happen.
Karen wasn't safe, and her husband couldn't protect her that time because with too many black men. The black men stood up and the black women jumped in. But we're going to end this. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. But I'm going to play this video as we end out. And I want y'all to, what's missing from this video is us building a garden, a community garden together. But this is our unity video, and this is what we're about. Y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. Peace.
The United Empires of
Let's see if it's
Akibilan is a
playing.
sovereign nation. The United Empires of Akibilan is a sovereign nation founded on the principles of Black economic empowerment, self-determination, and community
I guess it's
building.
not gonna play.
Our mission is
It's
to
playing.
create a safe
It is.
and prosperous haven
I don't see it.
for Black people to live, work, and thrive together, free of the chains of white supremacy.
Tell me when to stop.
Okay, Queen, it stopped.
All right.
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
All right, y'all.
Akibilan, Arizona.
We are out.
Yes. Queen, you are muted, but if you want
Yes,
to end
muted.
this, you are
All right,
muted.
y'all. Peace.
Please.